It's one thing to be afraid of the dark outside, but it's another level of terror when the danger comes inside your own home. Tonight, I'll be sharing 3 terrifying true home invasion horror stories. And as you listen, ask yourself this: what would you do if you heard someone trying to get inside your house right now? Story 1: The Man at the Window. It was late at night when a young woman, living alone in her small suburban home, heard a faint tapping sound at her bedroom window. At first, she thought it was a tree branch swaying in the wind, but then she heard it again. Tap, tap, tap. She turned down her TV and listened closely. This time, it wasn't a branch. It was Knuckles. Someone was knocking on her second-story window. The blood ran cold. She slowly peeked through the blinds, expecting to see nothing. But what she saw froze her in place. A man's face pressed against the glass, grinning at her in the dark. She screamed and ran to the phone to call 911. But by the time the police arrived, the man was gone. The officers searched the area but found nothing. But here's the most disturbing part. On the outside wall, just below her window, were the muddy imprints of someone's boots and a ladder that didn't belong to her. Question for you, viewers. If you were in her shoes, would you have the courage to even look out the window? Or would you hide and hope they went away? Comment below. I'm curious to know. Story 2: The Silent Intruder. A father and his teenage son lived in a quiet rural home, miles from the nearest neighbor. One evening, the father fell asleep on the couch while his son played video games in his room. At around 2 a.m., the boy swore he heard footsteps in the hallway. He thought it was his dad, until he called out, and there was no answer. The footsteps grew louder, deliberate, heavy. He froze. Suddenly, the sound stopped right outside his door. Terrified, he whispered, "Dad?" The door handle began to slowly turn. The boy slammed his weight against the door and screamed. The father woke up and rushed over, just in time to see the front door of their house swinging open, as if someone had just slipped out into the night. When the police came, they discovered fresh footprints in the snow leading up to the back door. But they never found out who or what was inside that house with them. Imagine hearing footsteps outside your bedroom right now. Would you dare to open the door and check? Or would you lock it and pray the morning comes fast? Story 3: The Locked Room. This story comes from a man who had just moved into a new apartment. On his first night there, he noticed the bedroom door didn't have a working lock, so he jammed a chair under the doorknob before going to sleep. At 3 a.m., he woke to the sound of the chair scraping against the floor. His eyes shot open, and he saw the doorknob twisting, shaking violently, as someone tried to force it open. He yelled that he had a gun, but the shaking only grew more aggressive. In pure panic, he grabbed his phone and called the police. The noise stopped, and everything went silent. When the officers finally arrived, they searched the building and found no one inside. But when the man looked at his door, he realized something horrifying. The wood around the lock was splintered, as if someone had been prying at it with a tool. To this day, he sleeps with his bedroom door barricaded, wondering if the intruder ever plans to come back. Home invasion stories hit different because they remind us that no place is truly safe. You can lock your doors, close your windows, and turn on the lights. But sometimes, that's not enough. Which of these stories chilled you the most tonight? The face at the window, the footsteps in the hallway, or the locked room? Leave your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if you've ever had a terrifying encounter in your own home, share it with us below. The scariest stories might be featured in a future video. If you enjoyed tonight's horror stories, make sure to hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a new upload. We post true horror stories every week. This is True Terror Files. And remember, sometimes the scariest place is your own home.